Are we live? Are we live? Yes, guys, hello and welcome to another live stream by Fermube. Thank you very much for watching this video. First of all, I would like to thank, are we going live? Yes, 32 people watching. Thank you so much, guys. Um, I have been running around like a headless chicken today, so um, I didn't actually finish uploading all the different information that I wanted to share with you, all the different videos and the different photos. I think that I am uh, one about 75% done. So this is going to be as illustrated as I possibly can. Could somebody let me know if the sound is okay? Could somebody let me know in the comment section? Caliber Wings, are you there? Can you let me know if the sound is good? Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay. Hey, Ziv, how are you? Sound is good. Okay, I'm getting a bit of latency in terms of the comments. So, guys, I want to start by saying that what I want to show you today is not the videos that I went there to make. This is just kind of like the B-roll and showing you the different things that we did and how we did it and some of the things that took place. And I think that this will be good information for tomorrow's Ask Me Anything session. So tomorrow, me and Noel are going to be streaming together, and you can ask all your questions. So this one is not going to be so much based on questions, but more on me showing you some information that you can, um, so that you can actually have something to ask. Okay. So let's start then with this presentation. The first thing that I would like to say is that I am not a journalist. Okay, this was not a trip to be done like a journalist. All I wanted to do was to go there and shoot some videos that I could have done here at home. You've seen me do some videos where I report on different things and I have a lot of statistics and I have a lot of information. Well, I went there to make three videos about the situation in Xinjiang. Three videos. That's all I wanted to do. That's why it didn't really matter to me whether I went to a lot of places or not. That's why I wanted to be in different places so I could do different shots in different cities. Um, but the thing is that a lot of people who argue, um, the haters, they're always going to say, "Ah, you can't talk about Xinjiang if you haven't been to Xinjiang." That's what a lot of people like to say, right? And well, now, can I talk about Xinjiang then? Is it okay for me now to talk about Xinjiang? I'm talking about one of you guys, haters, that is always asking me, "Oh, how can you talk about it if you haven't been there?" So the next thing that they're going to do, and this I'm sure they're going to say that, "Ah, but you didn't go to this place and you didn't go to that place and you didn't go to the places that ASPI has." Well, I'm not going to do the homework for them, am I? If they want to corroborate that information, because it's all estimated, right? It's all guesses and whatnot, they do their job. I'm not going to do it for them. I went there to make videos that I wanted to make. This is not a video about that. You have to wait a couple of days for those videos to come out. But here's another thing. Um, what Western media has done over there is basically hurt hurt the hurt society so much. They've hurt businesses, they hurt their income level, they hurt their reputation, they've hurt the region so much that the image of Westerners has also been damaged. So if I go there with a camera, well, people are going to look at you a little bit funny, like, what's this guy doing with the camera? Do you know what I mean? I don't blame them, as I said in my Twitter, in one of my tweets earlier. But I understand that people don't want to be entangled in some kind of stupid lie. And they don't know me. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I want to do. They don't know what I would like to say, what I would like. They have no idea. Why would they trust me? Because I say that I'm a nice guy. I just want to talk to you. Of course not. So I understand why it's not possible for me to give what people were asking, which is more of a journalistic kind of thing. So going there was my way of saying what I already know, yeah, what I wanted to say, but without using a green screen, like you know who. So the purpose of this trip was to confirm the freedom to travel in China. You can travel to Xinjiang. Can you go everywhere? No, there are places where they don't want you to go. The same that there are places in America where they don't want you to go. Can you go to Fort Knox? Can you go and make a video in Guantanamo? Can you go and make a video in, I don't know, Fort Detrick, now that we're talking about COVID and whatnot? No, you can't. They don't let you, right? So there are things that Western media has twisted and spun so much that they don't want another issue. Very similar to what happened to me in Shanghai. Somebody passed away few days before I arrived there, and they said like, okay, foreigners cannot camp by themselves in Shanghai. They make rules based on in response to what's taking place outside and the perception that the Western world has of them, and they don't want this kind of scenes and this kind of scenarios anymore. Now, was I allowed to shoot? Yes, you can shoot in Xinjiang. Obviously, there are people who don't want you to shoot. There are people who, for example, we wanted to make a short clip at a coffee shop, and the business owner said like, "Hey, please don't shoot here." But it's very normal. Go to America and try to start making videos at a shop. The owner might tell you, yes, you can shoot, or the owner might tell you, no, you cannot shoot. There's absolutely no difference with what took place with us in Shanghai. People have the right to refuse you shooting. Um, so yes, I get the feeling that the people of Shanghai have been let down by foreigners. They are not as trusting as did I say Shanghai? Sorry, Xinjiang. They're not as trusting of foreigners for the time being. I apologize for not shaving. I'm not changing my uniform, but as I said, I've been running like a crazy chicken today. Coming back, it was a little bit complicated. So let's start with some of the things that I want to show you guys. The first thing that I want to show you or want to talk about is something that happened in Shenzhen that had never happened to me before. Um, I got to the airport and my wife and I we booked the ticket together, right? So we showed them the booking, and they printed my wife's ticket going to Urumqi and my ticket going to another place. So when I get to security, like, what's this? I'm like, why are you going to different places? This flight is later. And I'm like, what? And yeah, there you go. That put a little bit of a stress in our trip because I didn't know if I was going to be able to catch the flight. Noel can attest. We had to sprint like crazy to make it to the plane, but we made it on time. But yeah, that had never ever happened to me that my ticket would be printed to the wrong destination. All right, so we arrived at Urumqi, and the thing with going to Urumqi or to Xinjiang, there are two things. There is a bit of a scare with COVID. Um, you can go, don't get me wrong, you can go, but yes, they're very alert in terms of COVID. The other thing is that on that weekend, there was a tour of several diplomats in Urumqi, and they were going to different places. So they wanted to make sure that we were going to be okay. So from Shenzhen, somebody must have called to Urumqi in Xinjiang, and by the time we were on the plane, the flight attendant came to a seat and they said like, okay, so you guys are foreigners. Me, Noel, and my wife is not a foreigner, but she was with me. So you guys, you can deplane before everybody else. And here's started something that was very, very repetitive. They're always asking you the same questions, and it's extremely, you gotta be patient. You gotta, I mean, I guess because I'm in Dongguan and we didn't get COVID uh, in too much. It was not very limiting, you know. There was limiting. It didn't limitate our movement too much, but over there, well, they take it extremely seriously. Not that it's not serious here in Dongguan, but um, we didn't need to be that cautious over there extremely. So they ask you always the same questions in every single place and every single stop. Where are you coming from? As in, which country are you coming from? Where were you before? Do you have a green code? Interesting thing. My wife and I were trying to get the green code from the Guangdong health code, and I'd never been able to get it. But this time around, I got it, so that helped us to get onto the airports and to show these things. They also want to know your last entry, as in, have you been abroad in a country that might be at risk? So me and Noel, we've both been here. I haven't left the country since 2019. Noel since 2020. But we said these dates so many times during the trip that my wife already had him in her head. Yeah, he is 2019, August, whatever, and he is 2020. What was it? Noel? February 3rd, I think. So it was funny. Um, but yeah, they ask you the same questions again and again and again. But that was about it. I mean, we got to the airport. We waited for about 5 minutes to give our answers. They take pictures of our passports, and then the whole plane comes behind us, and they wait until everybody's ready, and then they let us go all together at the same time. Um, we were carrying very, very little luggage. Basically only carry on like backpacks because we knew we were going to be walking a lot. So the first thing that we did was, well, we got on a taxi and we headed up to the Grand Bazaar. Let me show you a short video here of us in the taxi. I apologize. I really haven't had the time. We arrived this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm still a little groggy. So I haven't had the time to edit all the clips. I have a few clips that are a few seconds just to show you some of the things that we did. But I want to tell you something interesting about taxis. They're a lot cheaper than they are here in Dongguan. Very long journeys, and it'll be 20 RMB or something like that. An interesting thing that I observed is that they're not EVs as opposed to Dongguan or Shenzhen. They usually run on LNG, liquid nitrogen gas, or liquid LPG. I forgot what LPG is. Um, One thing that we saw that was really cool is that in the taxis there are devices that take people's temperatures automatically. um Quite interesting. You get in it and they go beep, and like, what was that? And like, oh no, it's taking the temperature of the passengers. I'm like, all right. Another thing that I saw is that they have QR codes to check your health pass. So you get on the taxi and there's two QR codes. One QR code is for you to pay for your fare. The other one is to check, to demonstrate to the taxi driver that you have a green pass. So you scan it with your phone and you show it to the driver, and that's it. I guess it was not being used anymore, or the drivers that we had didn't ask us, but it was there. Sorry, it was there hanging, waiting for somebody to scan it, but the drivers didn't ask us. The other thing is we asked the driver, okay, we want to go to, what is the most beautiful mosque here in Urumqi, and the driver goes and says like, oh, there's so many mosques. It's very difficult to say. So it's very diplomatic answer. So yeah, after what, like 20-minute ride, we arrived to the Grand Bazaar. Let me show you a little bit the entrance of the Grand Bazaar. That was it, but there's a little bit more. So let me show you another angle and another bit. There's going to be a more full video coming up. All right, let's go find something to eat. Fuck, it's cold. Sorry, I haven't edited this. But it was cold. It was extremely cold. And here's the thing, I had to pack so much technical gear, so much stuff. And I packed our down coats because we knew that the temperature was going to be rather cold. And we left them at home. So we were left with what we were wearing. So you'll see me in most of the videos wearing 3 or 4 layers. And what I did from one video to the other was change the outer layer so it would look a little bit different. But yes, I had 3 t-shirts. That's three t-shirts and like this thermal underwear. That's all I had. But it was very cold. At the bazaar, we saw well, your typical things in the bazaar. It's really cool. But one of the things that was quite interesting was some combs that are made with horns of these looks like cows or oxes or bulls. I don't know. But check out the size of those horns, guys. There's a couple of videos, so check it out. Huge. So big. Ready. All right, here's the other one. So for me, it was kind of interesting to see the process how they make the different combs, and they start with this part of the horn, and the guy's just working there all the time making horns, 30 RMB per horn per comb. So the wife got a comb for her hair. After this, then, as I said in the previous video, we went to the food court. We ate in one side of this bazaar, but then we went to the food court, and the food there just absolutely fantastic. Take a look. This is just one little bit of the food, but as I said, there's going to be a fuller video showing all the things that we saw. At this particular bazaar, this food court, that's when I shot my first video. um, this is just to show you that it is possible to be a YouTuber in Shanghai. Not Shanghai, in Xinjiang. Sorry, I'm getting them all confused. Um, Here's another picture of me actually delivering the video and making the video. So yeah, it is possible to do. Um, a lot of people stop and look, and it's strange for them. So there's a lot of people. It makes you nervous when you see somebody right next to you, kind of like, what are you doing, what are you talking about? You don't know if they understand English or not. You don't understand, they don't know what you're saying. So it's a special situation. It's quite interesting. All right. Well, the next thing that we did was we went to the train station. One thing that I saw at the train station is that the police, I would say, are extremely serious about people cutting the line. The lines are quite long because the way that people go in is quite interesting. It's just batches of like 10 or 12 people. I'm gonna try to explain this to you the best I can. So if somebody's trying to cut the line, they just stop them right away, and they get kind of like angry, and there's no like forgiveness or anything. Just go back. So there's this Disney line, right? And once you enter through the doors, the big gates, um, you see that there's like lines from left to right. There's like from that next door to this gate, there's a line of 20 people, and 2 or 3 meters away, there's another 20 people and another 20 people and another 20 people. And then these guys in the first line, they go in, and then we all move to the left. This one goes in, and then we all move to the left. And again, extremely serious about people not cutting the line. Some people, when you see this process of moving to the left, some people like, I'm going to jump into this next line, right, to make it quicker. They will get mad and just yelling about, get back, I saw you. Well, like, and nothing happens until the guy goes back. That's what I mean, really, really serious about not cutting lines and controlling the situation, which I have to say I appreciate it. I I appreciate when people enforce how things should go. The next thing to say is that they're extremely extremely serious about COVID. Everywhere, you need to show your green codes, and you need to show your our COVID test, because we had to take a COVID test before we went, and because a COVID test is only good for 7 days, we had to do the test on Tuesday here in Dongguan, pick it up on Thursday, so that it will be valid for 7 days. But we're gonna get to the next situation that took place. So we finally got into the station, and we got on our train uneventfully. Everything is fine. Um, and we because Noel decided to join me after I had already prepared everything. He got the same train, he got the same flight and everything, but we were sitting in different places. We were not sitting together. So he was in a hard sleeper, and my wife and I, we were in a soft sleeper. This is a picture of my soft sleeper. It's only 4 people, and you got heated beds, which is really appreciated. You got a door. What else? No, it's a very very comfortable ride. The only thing that I didn't like is that there's only one power outlet, and we anticipating this, we brought like a power cord where we could plug different things and plug different USBs. So, bing, we plug that in, and we have the door open, and then the guy, the I don't know, security, or the guy who takes care of the train, comes and said like, "Oh, you can't plug it like that because you might cause a fire." And I'm like, "Okay, so what if I just plug it like that?" Because we brought this power cord, we didn't bring those little adapters, the little squarey things, so we had no way of charging things. Anyway, we figured it out, and we found a little brick, a little charger USB thing, and we charged one thing at a time. Microphones, cameras, phones. It was a 15-hour train ride, so we have plenty of time. Um, well, another thing that was surprising to me was realizing that China should definitely be 3 time zones. Because it's like 9 o'clock in the evening and the sun's still out. I mean, I've been in Florida in summer. That was not new to me. That was like, okay, sure, this happens. But the weird thing, I mean, longer days, I've had that, right? Where the sun comes out early and the sun goes down late. But this one was different. This is like everything is shifted. The days are also the same amount of daylight, but the sun comes out around like 9 o'clock in the morning. You're like, the weirdest thing. So that was one interesting thing. So we took the train and we arrived in Kashgar the next morning. It was a very very cold morning, and here we had a bit of an incident because we were in different cars. My wife, me, were over here, and Noel was in another car, and we couldn't actually travel through the cars. Um, so when we came out of the at the station, we had no idea where we were. So I was trying to send Noel my location using WeChat location, the real time location, which is very useful. But he didn't pick it up, and what he did is he shone his light from his talk and walk and talk rig. So he's got a little light, and well, obviously the eyes of a lot of people, security would not go to the light, and then they're like, "Oh, what are you guys doing? You can't shoot here." You can't shoot inside a station where there's police and all these things, and where there's lots of people getting tested for COVID and whatnot. So they pulled us apart and they say the same thing, right? Question, 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 question. Where do you come from? Your COVID, whatever. And here's where we learned the first thing is that every city or even every town has its own COVID rules. So even though in Urumqi we had no problem with our Dongguan COVID test and with our green code pass from Shenzhen, when we got to Kashgar, it's like, nope, here you're foreigners, you need to get a new test, and we're like, so they drove us to like a small sports center kind of thing where they had set up a place for people who are coming from abroad, or who are coming from I think it was Yunnan. I'm not sure if it was Yunnan, where there has been a bit of um, spark of COVID. So if people have been to this province or people are coming from abroad, recently or not, you go there and you get tested. So we went to this place. There were 8 people there. We were all like, waiting, waiting, waiting. The test is a little bit long. We got our tests like 2 hours later, and we were able to go on our merry ways. I was a little bit pissed off because, well, our time was so limited. But the truth of the matter is that this ended up being kind of a like a blessing in disguise because we were able to uh, show this test from Kashgar anywhere and nobody would give us any trouble. I mean, even in other cities and in other places, like, look, we were tested in Kashgar yesterday. We were tested in Kashgar 2 days ago. So that actually made it very easy. And there's another aspect, like anywhere you're going to enter, anything where you're going to go, a mall, a restaurant, shops, like shops on the street, you know what I mean? You need to scan a QR code, but that QR code only works with Chinese ID. So, had we not had this Kashgar COVID test, we wouldn't have been able to enter any place, any touristy place or anything. So, yes, we wasted 2 hours, but at the same time, it opened the doors to anything that we wanted to see, and we wouldn't have been able to see had we not had that test. So, yeah, that's the thing. Now, from there, from this little center, we took a taxi and we went to sorry and we went to, oh, sorry, Noel is sending a picture, but I don't know if I can actually show it. Eh, okay, Noel is sending me something, but let me get back to what I was talking about. So from that little sports center, we took a taxi and we went to the bazaar, and that's where we took this picture. That's the thumbnail. This is a screenshot from a video that Alex from Reportify Media, who I want to thank a lot for everything that he did in helping me find out things and coordinating things before I went to Xinjiang. A few people that I would like to thank. One of them, Jerry Gray, who helped us a lot figuring it out that a lot. Let me put it this way. I said to Jerry, I'm a little bit worried. And Jerry said something that I will never forget. And I want each and every one of you guys, 149, 150 people that are watching right now, listen to what he said. That's what Western media wants you to feel. That's what they want you to feel. They want you to feel like you're not free, like something bad is going to happen. Nothing. Nothing. Every single aspect of security was there to protect us, to to make us feel safe, because this is a place that has had horrible things happening for decades. And over the last 4 years, they haven't had a single terrorist attack. Nothing. So Yes, they take it very seriously. Um, so this message that Jerry gave me, it was very fresh in my head. Like, look, these are people doing their jobs, and we met a very friendly guy. We call him. Well, he said to call him Michael, right? Uh, Michael the cop. Uh, Perfect English, absolutely fantastic English, and he again said, "Look, my job is to look after foreigners." He called and said, like, "Hey, where are you guys? We're at the bazaar. Okay, I'll meet you there." So he came out. We came out of the bazaar, and he said, "Okay, let me just ask you again the same question. Where have you been?" Ta, 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 ta. Took some pictures of our passports and all these things, and said, like, "Look, I hope you don't mind. It is my job to look after foreigners. We don't want anything uh, bad to happen to you, so we need to make sure that you don't you're not in danger, or you're not a danger to other people because of COVID." And I said, like, "Look, Michael, I understand you're doing your job. Thank you very much. But here's the thing. Since you called me, now I have your phone number. Next time that I'm stopped by some cop here in Kashgar, can I call you? Can I call you and you tell them that we're good? Can I call you and tell them that yeah, you've checked us already?" Because the thing is that this chain of command uh, is really annoying. Everybody's asking the same questions again and again and again. His answer: "Sure, Mike. Sure, call me." Couldn't be any friendlier. All right. Um, let me see if I have another video here. So, oh, okay. After this, um, we um, we went to a place called the Kashgar Old City, and but before that we had lunch, and I saw something that, again, because in Dongguan we didn't have a very serious case of COVID. I'd never seen this perspex separations, this acrylic separations at a table. So four people sitting, and then there's four spaces created with perspex with acrylic, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But the minute that me, my wife, and Noel sit down, they just remove it, like, "Oh, you guys are good." I'm like, "All right." That felt special, felt weird, like, okay. And we had the most amazing um, lamb ribs. I have photos, but as I said, I didn't have time to actually load them up. But boy, was that amazing. Um, Noel has some noodles. He's gonna show you in his videos. Oh my God. I mean, I love Xinjiang food, but the food that we get here is not even close to the food we have there. Okay, this is a very long video, so let's go a little bit faster. So we walked to the Kashgar Old City. Here's a video of the entrance, okay? Again, very short clips. I'm going to put all these together in very nice videos later on. This is a very large area that is has been renewed, has been redone and made to look really nice in the style of uh, of its original appearance. Lots of shops, lots of restaurants, coffee shops, people doing handcrafts. For example, here's a clip of a guy who was working with wood. But there's tons of these little shops where people actually live there and work there, but in this architecture style that's traditional. Have a look at this guy working with his wood. All right, so there you go. That's the kind. Lots of people, lots of shots. I'll show you more. I just didn't have time to upload. Lots of artisanal work, beautiful things, eateries, coffee shops, and whatnot. Um, we found out something that I'd never seen. There was a surveillance camera. There's tons of surveillance cameras, right? That's very normal. Even in Dongguan, you don't even see them anymore. But for whatever reason, I caught it in the corner of my eye. and the camera was tung, tung, turning with us. Like, I guess because there are not too many foreigners right now over there, or for some time now. So they're like, "Oh, look at these foreigners." That was, I mean, I said to Noel, "Check it out, the camera's actually following us." An interesting thing. Um, after walking in this bazaar, we crossed the street. This is all probably 2 or 3 kilometers distance from the bazaar to the old city to this main mosque. This is a mosque that's been in many um, TV shows and many CGTN. Everybody goes to this particular mosque, so we ended up there. What I saw there, and I'm sorry that I can't show you anymore because I didn't upload anything else. So many Uyghur people, so many people, a lot of older people, a lot of kids playing, like it was a holiday, right? Everybody on the street, everybody doing something, everybody playing, everybody. So let me tell you a couple of things that I saw here that were remarkable and that you'll see in an upcoming video. Um, Noel was crazy because he saw camels. He'd never seen a camel, I guess. So it was cool because they have these camels and people can ride the camels and get pictures taken. But a cool thing that I saw is that you can actually get on a horse, and the horse is trained to get on his hind legs, right? And then you get a picture with a girl, right? One of those cool pictures like Napoleon or whatever. Um, so I got a clip of that. It's not here. You're gonna have to wait for it to come in a future video. At this particular place, I made a video response to ADV China. You're gonna have to wait and see that one. I'll tell you what. ADV China mentioned that Western YouTubers were going to go to Xinjiang. What Xinjiang? Xinjiang, sorry. And we know what they're going to tell you. So what? You're going to discredit my message before you even seen what I do? They don't understand the purpose of my trip. And I've said it to everybody. I've said it to my wife. I said it to Noel. I went there to make videos that I could have made here in my studio, but I wanted to make them over there to show people that you can travel, that you can go there. They can't go there. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Again, blood, but watch that video. All right. Um, well, I saw something really cool, man. We saw some people playing, like spontaneously playing very cool music, beautiful music. The man was blind, but it was so, and they were jamming. You know what I mean? It's like it was not a song. It was like the guy was changing the beat, and then the other guy would change the beat as well. It was spectacular. It's one of the coolest things we saw, or I saw personally, in this trip in an upcoming video. One thing that I mentioned to Noel, and kind of like oh yeah, that's true. We actually never heard a call to prayer. I've been to different Muslim countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, right? And you hear the call to prayer. We didn't hear it nowhere in Xinjiang did I ever hear a call to prayer, which was interesting. Um, all right. The other thing that was captivating for me was this information that people say that, oh, they're trying to get rid of the language, and I'm like, that is the most stupid thing you can say. Everywhere you go, there's so much Arabic. We're in a taxi, and I'm making a video because I'm like, could you please listen to this radio station? This is an Arabic radio station, a Uyghur language, sorry, not Arabic, a Uyghur language radio station. And it was not the only one, TV, like, so why can I see this, hear this, and people out there saying that, oh no, they're trying to get rid of their language? We rode with a taxi driver whose Chinese was so poor, and he said, like, I wish I'd learned it before. It's difficult to communicate with customers. I wish I'd learned it before. Others I said like, well, I actually never studied it, but I picked it up from just people that I work with. People over there appreciate the fact that they can actually speak Chinese. Um, okay, I'm getting a message here saying that if it helped me to thank you, Lee, for the question. If it helped to have Noel over there because he speaks Chinese. My wife is Chinese. So, yes, it did help to have both of them over there because, well, my Chinese is very limited and their Chinese is limited. So it's a little bit more complicated. Their, their, um, their tones are like mine, probably. So, yeah, it was kind of cool. Let me see. Okay. As I said, guys, this session today is to tell you everything that we did. Okay, it's not going to be the questions. I'm not even looking at the comments right now. It's just like 140 comments. I'm probably gonna look at those later. But tomorrow, see you tomorrow. Okay, 10 o'clock. The Wumao show. We are going to answer all your questions. We're not gonna show you much. We're just going to listen to your questions and answer the questions that you have. Anything. So if people are interested in asking us details, feel free. Feel free to call, to send messages. We're going to pay more attention to the contents, to the comment section tomorrow. Um, okay. Let's continue with the thing. Oh, this is in Kashgar, man. The largest Mao Zedong statue I have ever seen. Humongous, humongous. And we were like, oh, but we were driving by and nobody took a picture. But Noel Googled it and it's something like 60 feet or something. Noel, you can correct me in the comment section if you remember. Um, we ended up going to to a hotel. But here's an interesting thing: because of COVID, only few hotels accept foreigners. In fact, in Kashgar, only one hotel accepted foreigners. But boy, was that good, man. We paid $50 and it was beautiful, brand new, um, beautiful marble bathroom, bathtub for $50. I paid $100 in America and stayed at the smelliest room you can imagine. So this hotel in Kashgar, absolutely fantastic. That night we watched Reportify Media's Alex Reportify Media's clip together, and after that we were so tired. We went to sleep very very early. Oh, but an interesting thing, something again that Jerry, thank you Jerry for all your help. Hold on, this looks a little bit dark at the back. Let's see if I can change it. Um, Jerry told me like, look, if you're going to say, when we got to check in Kashgar, right? They gave us a card like, okay, this is for you too, for me and Noel, and this is for you. They gave it to my wife and like, no, 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 we're married, so you're giving the keys incorrectly. Oh, we need to see your marriage certificate. I'm like, ha, I got you. Here you are. Uh, because Jerry had actually told me that if you want, because of all the Muslim influence, right? If you want to sleep with a woman, it has to be your wife and you have to be able to prove it. So that was very handy. Thank you, Jerry. I was not aware and it worked. So the next morning, we got up really early, like 5 o'clock in the morning, to go to the airport to fly to Hotan. Um, this Hotan airport was a little bit more modern. The interesting thing is we saw people coming out of the club because the hotel had a club at 5 o'clock in the morning, partying real hard. Now I have to look. I am an honest person. Um, I tweeted something that I need to correct. I haven't had the time. Um, I think it was the CNN or BBC said that they were asked to shut down the shades, the blind on the airplane when they were landing. I arrived in Urumqi. In Urumqi, they don't ask you to do that. But when you go into Kashgar or Hotan, these are military airports. So because they're military airports, they do ask you to bring the shade down. So I will correct that in my Twitter, but I'm telling you here that that's actually what happened. Now, A lot of people might wonder, or I ask myself, why are we flying from a military airport? The population is not too large over there. The amount of flights is not too large. So it doesn't really justify building a civil aviation airport when you already have a military airport. So there's some kind of agreements and kind of, hey, you guys make sure that this is this and this is that, and then you can use a military airport. So this is why we fly from military airports. So, um, yeah, corrections where corrections are due. I'm not afraid to do that. Okay. Um, we when we arrived in Hotan, there was a very lengthy COVID registration again, um, but we were ushered basically by one guy who walked us through the whole process. There was an immediate test, so I remember I put the picture on my Twitter. Um, Basically, you sit there, put it in a tube, and go. And if there's any issue with your test, then they would contact. There's contact tracing. In this particular place, we went to take a taxi, and the guy wouldn't take us. Don't know. One of those things, similar to what happened to me in Shanghai, where they denied me access to a restaurant. The guy didn't even ask us any questions. He's like, no, 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 foreigners, no, no, no. I want to say something. Every single person that I talked to was asking me, "Are you American? Are you British?" I'm like, "No." Check out my passport. So there's this thing that I mean, I guess you guys have done it to yourselves. Um, well, not you, but your government has created this perception that if you're American, there is a certain disconnect with you. Um, so they ask you directly, "Are you American?" So that was a good thing that I'm not. But this taxi driver didn't take us. I don't know why. She just saw a Westerner. He said, "No, I'm not going to take you." Um, Now the taxis here did not have a temperature reader. He took us to the hotel. Boy, was this a crappy hotel. Similar price, but probably 20 years old. Noel's room smelled like there were dead animals in there. And the guy said like, oh, we're going to upgrade you because you're checking in so early. Your rooms are not ready. We're going to upgrade you. And I'm like, can't imagine what the other rooms were like. But anyway, we were only there to sleep a few hours because every night we'll come like late at night and wake up really early to go on our merry way to another airport. But Noel did get a room change, and I guess it was not so bad, the other one. Um, so that day, what we did is we hired a driver. We told the driver, hey, could you drive us around? We would like to see real rural people. We basically told her we want to see cotton fields. So she drove us out into the countryside. Yeah, and we had lunch, which was absolutely fantastic. The best Yan Rochuan I've ever had in my life. And I mean, in Dongguan, they're expensive and they're tiny. In Urumqi, they were big but expensive. Like it was like 10 for one. This place, gigantic Yan Rochuan. Well, I'm talking like this big. 4 yuan, man. 4 yuan. That's 50 cents. Oh, just absolutely fantastic. A lot of b-roll over there show you, you will see a lot of the countryside, beautiful. And okay, here's the thing. Every single town, it could be 2 kilometers away or 10 kilometers away, has a checkpoint for COVID. So, and here's the thing: the taxi driver, sorry, but not, she was not a taxi. She puts her car for rent, right? And she said you can rent the car and drive yourselves, but it's going to be a hassle. Let me drive. I'll drive for you for free. So that's what she did. Um, so the driver stays in the car and she does her tests, QR code, whatever, because passengers need to get out of the car. Why? I don't know. Not just foreigners, okay? All passengers. All passengers need to get out of the car and go through the little booth, and then you show your ID and whatnot. But because we are foreigners, our process is different. Again, if you're a local, you just take your ID and you go beep, go, beep, go, beep, go. I mean, it's like a thermometer thing that scans your temperature. So beep, your ID takes your temperature, go. Beep, ID, temperature, go. But because we were foreigners, it was different. I'm going to tell you something that happened here that illustrates stuff, man. There was a Uyghur police officer. He's Chinese, not good at all. And he's taking our information and whatnot. And I'm like, okay. He asked us to go into a different room. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And the guy actually turns around, says in Chinese, 对不起. He says he's not very good at Chinese. He has to call somebody to help. And he actually apologized to us for taking so much of our time. We were there 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Um, but to hear a police officer actually say, "I'm sorry" to you, I I I, I I say, "Hey, 辛苦了, 辛苦了. Thank you very much for 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 doing the job that you do." Do you know what I mean? For keeping us safe and everybody else. I mean, I'm here only for a day, but I can imagine how grateful people are. Well, I don't know. I mean, when you think about it, it is a bit of an inconvenience. There is a price to pay for safety. Um, I found it very shocking. Um, I don't know how a local person would feel. I didn't get to talk to a local person. The driver did tell us, yeah, with COVID, it just got more. But in the past, it was not so much because we probably did go through about 10 different checks. The funny thing is that they're not too far apart, right? So when you get to one check, one of the guys will call or on a walkie-talkie or a radio or sometimes just the phone and talk to the guys before, like, "Hey, I just got some foreigners here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Blah blah blah. They're going to this place. Blah blah blah." But this doesn't go to all the line. You know what I mean? They don't talk to all the different stations. They just talk to the one behind or the one in front. So they're always asking the same questions. It's like retelling your story every single time. I could recite it right now. But yeah, that police officer who said sorry, that really is stuck in my head. Um, well, after lunch, we headed out to those cotton fields, and we actually got to a place where they told us like, look, in this town, you need to, if you're a foreigner, you need to take a COVID test, and that's gonna take a few hours, and it's already almost like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're thinking, okay, what do we do? And they said, what do you want to do? Oh, we want to just see the cotton fields and take some pictures. I said, okay, now if you want to take pictures, you need to apply for a permit. I mean, transparent as transparent can be. You know what I mean? I tell like, this is what I'm here to do, right? This is what I would like to do. And they say, okay, if you want to take pictures or to make videos, you actually need to get a permit. And so, like, okay, I don't have time to apply for a permit. I don't have time to apply for a test. Thank you very much. Turn around, go home. But here's an interesting thing. I remember the BBC and the video that they made. They were saying that um, they were being followed. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, we're being followed. This guy tells us if you get the permit, you will be escorted. People will follow you, people will go with you. So that tells me two things. The BBC had a permit to go in, and the car that they shot, yeah, very, oh, it was just the agreement that you have to, well, the thing that you have to agree to in order to go to this place. That's what they had. That's what they had. So the first thing that comes to my mind is they had a permit to go in. The BBC had a permit to go in, and the car that was following them was agreed on. That was agreed. But anyway, um, let's move on. um, well, the the drive back, we were a little bit tired and very sleepy. The desert is strange, man, because it's really, really hot, very dry. Your hands are really uncomfortable, um, but at the same time, you feel the cold wind. So it's a very, very different place. It's You get sunburn, but you also get cold a little bit. It's a strange place. So we all have like this weird. I look red as hell. Noel was also very dark. My wife, who had her mask all the time, she's got a line over here. She looks a bit like a panda. Ooh, wow. So yep, we ended up going back to town. We went to the bazaar in Hotan, Hetian in Chinese, and walked around, blah blah blah. Um, I took a video of the architecture. I really like architecture, so I took a video of the architecture, and some man approached me and said like, "Hey, don't take a picture of me." And I'm like, "I'm not really taking a picture of you, but if it makes you feel okay." I deleted the thing. A civilian, an individual, not police or anything. So that took place. That happened. Now, uh, there's an interesting thing about this bazaar is that it has been redone. So every single shop has a picture next to the door to the entrance that shows the way the shop looked before and the way it looks now. Every single shop. It's a beautiful place, a very, very nice place. But I found that interesting. And on top it says, this has been thanks to the CPC. Um, the investment that the government has made in giving these people better living conditions, better working conditions, because people live in those shops, right? Um, I mean, people like to bitch and moan about the government, but when the government pays out of their own money and say like, hey, this is going to inconvenience you for 6 months or a year, but you're going to have a new brand new shop that is going to be more beautiful, and more people are going to come here, and more people are going to buy from you because it's going to be a tourist attraction. Deal or no deal? Of course deal, man. Of course deal. Who's going to say no? Do you know what I'm saying? So this beautiful place has been done for the people by the government, plain and simple. So when people say, "Oh, the destruction of this and that," a lot of those constructions were actually unsafe for people to live or for people to run businesses there. If there was some kind of checking of fire fire safety or structural safety, they wouldn't they wouldn't pass the test. So they look, let's do this for you. Sorry, we'll give you a decent place, and that's what they did in Hotan. All right. After that, oh, here we met a lot of kids, tons of kids, um, and they all were really excited to see us. They wanted us to take pictures of them, take pictures with them, teenagers, little kids, whatever. And oh, here's another thing that I was thinking about. When I'm saying this and I'm talking to you guys about these pictures that said, "Oh, this was built thanks to the CPC," people are gonna say, "You see, it's all the government, blah blah blah." And I can think, how about Donald Trump? Remember how Donald Trump wanted to have his signature in every COVID relief check? It's true there, it's true here. I mean, if you're actually doing something for the people, I mean, do I think it's great? No, I think that the optics are not the best. But hey, it's true. Was it true that was actually Trump giving them their COVID relief check? No, that was the Senate. Anyway, Moving on. After this, we were walking to get a taxi, and I saw a hair salon, and I thought like, "Ooh, this is great. Let's have a Xinjiang style haircut." And this is what it looks like. Let me turn around. Um, the guy, because I always have like, "God, just shave my head, just shave my head, just shave my head." But this guy said like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm gonna give you the Xinjiang hairstyle." I'm like, "Yeah, right." The guy starts. Zzz, zzz, zzz. It just feels so. I kind of, I mean, for having little hair, it looks kind of nice. Okay, Noel is sending a picture of the hair salon. I'm sure. Sorry, guys, I didn't have time to upload everything. I'm gonna put a very nice video with all these things. The guy was super super nice. He basically he said like, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" That yeah, sure, take a picture, no worries. Super super friendly. That evening, we got to the hotel, and the driver, the taxi driver, sorry, not the driver that we had hired, said like, "Look, there's two food markets here. There's one which is the old one, where the food is absolutely fantastic and really cheap. That's where I did the live stream. Oh, everything looks so good. And some of you were saying, ah, unbelievable. Um, I must inform you, those of you who are watching that live stream, that I did not eat the rabbit. It was just too big. My wife didn't want to eat. Noel wanted to have, I don't know what he wanted. So a whole, the gigantic, okay? I'm like, no. So we skipped on the rabbit. So we did a live stream at this old night food market where I showed you all those things. And as soon as I stopped the show, we got on a taxi and we went to the new night food market where there are tons of performances. Um, Amazing, man, unbelievable. Here the food is not that good. There's not so much variety. The prices are higher, but the performers are absolutely beautiful. I tried to do a live stream, and some of you have watched it. Some of you have endured watching that live stream because the connection was just not good at all. I had to say something, guys. Some of you, oh, Galfe is so drunk. Fernando is so drunk. And I'm like, the music is so loud. I don't know if you can hear me, so I'm like shouting next to the phone like, "This is so cool, blah, blah, yeah." Not a drop of alcohol in my vein. I was just so excited to be able to show you culture in Xinjiang, to show you that they are alive. These cultural expressions, art, dance, sing, it's all alive, and it's all maintained, and it's all kept um, in a place where it's a show, or out back in Kashgar, for example, when we saw these people jamming. You're gonna love that video, I tell you. So yeah, it's everywhere. An interesting thing took place here is that Noel and I, we went by ourselves. I mean, nobody knew that we were going, nothing, right? Just Noel, let's go, let's go. I'm talking about media or anything. This was not an organized trip at all. But for whatever reason, there was a reporter there and a camera, and they were covering maybe an event or something. And then they spotted me. Well, they spotted Noel first, and then me, and we ended up being interviewed by the Xinjiang media, or Xinjiang channel, Xinjiang TV, in the Hotan district. Um, Very very nice lady. We exchange information, and when I get the clip, I'll show it to you guys. Um, and well, that was a really really cool day. They actually asked us to go dancing. So the lady took us to the stage and started dancing. And the first thing that I could think of, Lee, if you're watching, is, are they going to bring out vegetables? Like, this is, oh my god, they're gonna make videos, they're gonna talk about it. We were dancing, right? Having a lot of fun. My wife has the video, I'll put it on my video. But I was thinking, oh, the only thing that we're missing is vegetables. Anyway, it was an awesome night. Now we flew to Urumqi the next day at 8 o'clock. So man, we had to be at the airport at 6 o'clock. So that's a 5:30 wake up call. We landed in Urumqi at 9:40, and we did a very quick COVID questionnaire this time because we'd been there before. And I'm very glad, and thank you, Alex from Reportify Media. He put me in contact with another YouTuber called Alex in Xinjiang. Unfortunately, the guy's in quarantine, so we couldn't meet, we couldn't talk, we couldn't go to different places. But he was kind enough to at least point me in the direction of where I could actually shoot the remaining video that I needed to shoot. Um, Here's the thing, that weekend, as I said earlier, I think there were a lot of diplomats visiting Urumqi. Even Liu Xing from CGTN was in Urumqi talking to different diplomats and different people. So security was like on high alert. Like we're talking dozens of diplomats in the city. So I wanted to shoot this video, and it was very difficult because there's police everywhere. And here's the thing, I had the option, right, to say, okay, what if I talk to the police and say, like, look, I want to make a video, and this video is about, well, a positive thing about Xinjiang. I could do that, spend 10 minutes talking to that guy. But that guy on the street who sees me with a camera, he doesn't have the power to say, okay, sure, go ahead. He doesn't. So what does that mean? It means that he's gonna have to talk to somebody else, and he's gonna have to hear the story from somebody else, and then that guy's gonna talk to another guy. I mean, we would waste so much time trying to ask them to let us shoot. So we said, okay, you know what? Let's walk around. Let's walk around and try to find places where we can shoot. So what I did is I had like a video that would probably be, I don't know, 12 minutes or something. And I said, okay, I'm just gonna go like sentence by sentence, idea by idea. So we split the gear, right? So I'm carrying the camera. My wife has a tripod. Noel, who's taking pictures, he came to take pictures behind the scene. Is a little bit behind. So I got the microphone, right? So okay, does this look good? Yeah, okay. Set up, go. I'm like, I continue with my idea. So that last video was shot how many places? I don't know, 6 or 7 different places, because we didn't want to attract too much attention. You know what I mean? So we walked like, oh, Noel lost 2 kilos in this holiday. I haven't weighed myself because I hate people with fast metabolism. I probably gained weight. I don't know. But yeah, that was the last video in Urumqi. We ended up having lunch at a Vietnamese restaurant. There's one thing that I have to say. There is a very clear this difference in the level um, of lifestyle in Urumqi, which is in the north, and in the south. The development is just extremely different, and that probably is one of the issues. You go into malls and you have your international. Oh, we walk past an H&M. Do you know what I mean? Beautiful shops, beautiful malls, beautiful restaurants. You don't see that much in Kashgar and in Khotan. It's a little bit less developed, but that's what they're working on. That's what they're trying to do. That's what the government is trying to do, to bring this level of modernity, comfort, society, consumption, to these places. Um, but it was interesting to see and to notice that there's places where you can get a very decent. Oh, sorry, guys. The story about the cup of coffee. This became okay. We were in Kashgar in the morning, and I ordered a cup of coffee that cost 42 RMB, 42 RMB, and I swear to God, the worst coffee I've had in my life. Had they given me instant coffee, it would have been fine. This thing was horrible. That from that day on, from that moment on, we started measuring everything in coffees. So how much is this? Oh no, this costs 10 Kashgar coffees. And this was 5 Kashgar coffees. Anyway, never have coffee at Kashgar Airport. It's a ripoff. Um, So, well, guys, after that, basically, we rode the subway to the airport. Oh no, sorry, we were really really tired of walking. Sorry, and we decided, okay, I still need to finish my shot. I had like other four ideas or three ideas that I wanted to say, and I think it was Noel who suggested. It was good that I brought Noel. He came with me. Okay, I'm joking. And he said, "Hey, why don't we go to a park? I mean, in a park, there's bound to be people taking pictures and whatnot. So why don't we go to a park?" And it happened to be that there is a Chinese children's park about a kilometer from where we were, or 2 kilometers. We were too tired. Okay, too tired. 3 days of walking, carrying heavy bags. So we took a taxi. We got there and we found a little pagoda, like on top of a hill, and set up the camera. Nobody around, no problems, no interruptions. And I shot the end of my last video there, and I shot the Spanish version of one of the videos that I want to publish. So, good call, Noel. Good one. And after that, took the subway to the airport, and we flew out. So yeah, guys, that was the trip. Um, I guess giving you quite a lot of information, and if there are questions, things that you want to know, specifics, join us tomorrow. Okay, join us tomorrow for the Ask Me Anything, and difficult questions, easy questions, no matter what, we'll be answering everything you want to know. I want to remind you guys that if you want to support my channel, you can do that by, um, well, hitting the link in the description down below and buying me a cup of coffee. Or you can scan the QR code if you are here in China and you use WeChat. All right, guys, that's all the time for today. Thank you very much. Remember to give this a thumbs up and share it with whoever would like to watch it. And we'll see you tomorrow to answer your questions. Love you all. Have a good night. Bye bye.